What's up, everyone? This is FP Sticks bringing you some Go Battle League battles here in the Spring Cup. And in today's video, I know it's been a long time since I've posted content on this channel. I've been very busy with life and with work, but I am on spring break this week, so trying to upload a couple videos here and there. Hope you all have been well. I'm going to be running Pelipper in the lead with Galarian Weezing and Ferrothorn in the back. Galarian Weezing has really been flexible in the Spring Cup, and Ferrothorn is one of the best grass types you can use in this cup. Flash Cannon is really nice to be able to hit neutral against other grass types, and Pelipper in the lead is always very fun to use as well, but is fairly bait dependent. These are some of the first battles I did in the Spring Cup, so let's jump right into these battles so you can see how this team performed here. So Pelipper into Jellicent is not ideal. You do need to land the Hurricane successfully. But I just go immediately into my Galarian Weezing to see what my opponent wants to do. They are opting to stay in here, most likely going to throw a big move, so I will shield it up and respect this. This is where having Brutal Swing is really nice because you do hit for super effective damage. And they swap in a Jump Pluff, so Overheat is going to hit for a lot of super effective damage if they let this go through, but they do end up shielding it. I do win the CMP tie on the second overheat. My opponent farmed up a little bit too much, but you can see after my attack has fallen from the first overheat, Jump Pluff easily survives that. I do survive the acrobatics there, trying to get to another overheat, but they will be able to take me out here. Now I need to farm up a lot of energy with my Pelipper to be able to threaten that Jellicent when it comes back in. I am worried that whatever they have in the back is going to be a hard counter to my Ferrothorn though. Because Jellicent in the lead is obviously very weak to Ferrothorn, so they most likely will have something strong against that in the back. But out comes the Jellicent. I am able to get to this Hurricane before they get to another move. And I want to see where they want to spend their last shield. They let that go through. It's another grass type in the back, so my opponent is running water type in the lead with two grass types in the back. That's a fairly common team comp in this cup. I will commit my final shield to guarantee that I can land this Hurricane or get the final shield. And now Ferrothorn running Flash Cannon will be able to knock out this Abomasnow, no problem. And my opponent concedes the match, and I'm able to take that game there. Good game. Pelipper and Ferrothorn, this is quite the awkward matchup. You're both hitting for neutral. Pelipper does have to go for Hurricane. Now, most Ferrothorns are running Power Whip and Flash Cannon, but a lot of Ferrothorns build up to 5 bullet seeds and then throw to try to bluff the Thunder, and my opponent was able to bluff me pretty well there. They end up shielding the Hurricane, which is not good for me. I was hoping that I caught a Power Whip on my Galarian Weezing, and I was able to successfully make that catch. They're farming, and then they swap in their own Pelipper. The Weezing does lose the CMP tie to the Pelipper here. Now, I know Overheat is resisted, but if you're only going to be able to land one move, Overheat would do slightly more damage. But I'm realizing that I will potentially be able to get to 2 Brutal Swings here, and that grabbed a shield and was able to do a substantial amount of damage as well. Now, I'm totally okay with coming in with my Pelipper here, committing 1 shield and farming all the way down. If they bring out the Ferrothorn, they do have a lot of, I think they do have some energy stored, but they actually end up going into a Mantine here. And I land the Hurricane, and then I'm trying to catch on my Ferrothorn. I am able to catch here. I still have their Ferrothorn to deal with, so this is going to be kind of tricky in the end game. I'm worried that they might try to catch a Power Whip on their Ferrothorn, and that's exactly what they tried to do. Now, their Mantine has energy stored, so I do need to be aware of that. And it's still fairly healthy. I need to either land a Power Whip on the Mantine or land a Hurricane. So at this point, I'm going to opt for the farm down with Pelipper. Going to let my Ferrothorn go down. And this allows me to reach the Hurricane to take out the opposing Mantine. And we are able to take that game there. Good game. Let me know down in the comments what teams you have been enjoying in the Spring Cup, or are you able to play Master League? I unfortunately do not have enough XLs to build a lot of my favorite legendaries to use in Master League, so I am playing in the Spring Cup currently. Out comes Quillfish on the safe swap, and I do respond with Verathorn, but that resisted Sludge Wave really does a lot of damage. I do not want to get hit by another charge move here. But at this point, I think I do commit to the shield farm down because this energy on Verathorn is going to be able to go places. Now, most likely they might have another water type in the back, which is why they were intentionally trying to bait out the Verathorn here. If that's the case, I'm going to swap into my Galarian Weezing, and it is a Tentacruel in the back, so I ended up preserving my Verathorn. That'll really help me against this Tentacruel, and Pelipper against Trevenant is going to be kind of an awkward matchup, but it is kind of neutral. You're able to hit for super effective damage with the fast attacks, but you do have to get to a Hurricane to knock out that Trevenant, so I do want to try to get shields down here. Now I'm going to throw this Brutal Swing, and I allowed myself to get as low as possible so the Trevenant cannot farm up extra. My opponent makes a critical mistake there though. They really should have saved their shield for Trevenant, knowing that that was going to be the win condition, because the moves from the Tentacruel are never going to get my shields. They do bait me with a Seed Bomb there, nice play, but I'm still able to safely get to this Hurricane, and then we can easily take out the Tentacruel in the back there. And I do swap into my Verathorn just to force them to spend energy here, and I wanted to clear that debuff. And they concede the match, and we're able to take that game there. Good game. Pelipper into Abomasnow. We're able to hit for super effective damage with our fast moves, but the resisted Weather Balls really do not do that much. They try to catch on their Tentacruel, and I did farm up a lot with my Pelipper before making this swap here. You still need 2 Power Whips to KO though. But this really allows Verathorn to have energy coming out of this matchup, which potentially a Flash Cannon can really threaten the Abomasnow as well. They do go for Scald on the second move there after dropping my defense, which is a really nice play. I'm 1 Bullet Seed away from another Power Whip, but they actually end up shielding. Going to be able to get to another Power Whip here. Now they really want to fight for switch advantage, and I'm going to let them have that. I believe this is the game where you will see one of the big core breakers against this pairing of Pelipper and the Weezing. I'm going to throw this Weather Ball to get rid of the Weezing, and I'm just really hoping there's not a Lantern in the back, but there is. Lantern is a really solid response to Pelipper. It absolutely hard counters it, and Galarian Weezing does struggle against it because you're only able to hit for neutral non-stab brutal swings, which is not great. Galarian Weezing actually ends up losing the CMP tie against the Abomasnow there, which is really unfortunate for me. I had to debuff myself, and at this point there's pretty much no way I can take out this Lantern. I've dropped my attack. I do have a lot of energy stored on the Pelipper, but Hurricane only does about 30%, and even there they threw immediately, almost anticipating that I was going to swap there, so they deny all my energy. My opponent played really well there, and they're able to take that game. Good game. Cherim in the lead. You see the screen cut out a little bit. My capture card when I was streaming was having some issues, so I apologize for that. But Cherim, they're running Bullet Seed as the fast move. They generate energy very quickly. Weather Ball, Fire Weather Ball is very nice to hit for super effective against opposing grass types, and my opponent went straight for the Solar Beam. They are not messing around. Safe swapping a Lantern is one of the most dangerous things you can do in this cup, because Lantern is so hard walled by essentially any grass type. So not only am I going to be able to take out this Lantern, my Verathorn is going to leave with so much energy banked, and after all the wing attack damage I did with my Pelipper, I can safely just go straight for Power Whip here. And I'm just going for any chip damage I can get on this Cherim. There is a good chance there's another water type in the back, and actually I'm completely wrong. They had their own Abomasnow in the back. Gonna go straight for the Flash Cannon. I do get a shield, and then I'm going to go for a Weather Ball here. If I can land the Hurricane, I can one-shot this Abomasnow, and we're able to get there because of the successful Weather Ball bait. If they would have no shielded that weather ball, I could have just gone triple weather ball, and that would have done enough damage to knock out the big snowman as well. So Mantine in the lead is the other water flyer here. You're much bulkier as the Mantine. You do have Ice Beam and Bubble Beam. I've also seen people run Aerial Ace on it. But Pelipper having Weather Ball and Hurricane definitely has better charge moves, but does not have the bulk and the nice stats that Mantine does. You can see my opponent is actually running Ice Beam. And then they swap in their Trevenant, which was a very interesting play. They call my Brutal Swing. Really nice play. If I would have gone Overheat there, I would have just been able to nuke it and get rid of it. But they do end up committing a shield there. I really want to be able to get to that Brutal Swing, but they fully commit to the farm down, knowing that they're going to be able to save all that energy. Really nice management from them. Here, I could either shield twice or shield 0 times because they're at so much energy. I figure I'm just going to shield twice, commit to the farm down here, and see if Pelipper can do any work in the back. Out comes the Ferrothorn again, and I'm going to go for a pretty risky Weather Ball bait here, but I want to try to burn the last shield. They end up no shielding it. I do successfully catch a Power Whip on my own Ferrothorn, which puts my Ferrothorn ahead here. They're building up a lot. I'm really worried that they might accidentally catch my Flash Cannon on a Pokemon I don't want the energy to go on. So you see me wait for a split second there, and then I'm going to queue up my Flash Cannon. They end up no shielding it. And they are essentially in Flash Cannon range here. So I'm anticipating them swapping out at some point. But they're running Thunder, which does hit for single resisted versus double resisted. My Power Whip is barely not enough to KO. Out comes the Mantine again. Gonna throw this Power Whip. And then immediately swap into my Pelipper to guarantee that I can get this Hurricane damage off. This will be able to take out the Mantine. And then we should be able to farm down the Ferrothorn and take that game there. Good game. Kind of tricky end game there. Empoleon is an absolute core breaker for this team. So I'm gonna stay in with my Pelipper, sacrifice it, just try to get any chip damage I can off on this thing. I'm going to throw this Hurricane. Luckily, Galarian Weezing will hit for neutral with the Brutal Swing. They end up shielding it. That's okay. I bring out my Weezing here. And I do want to shield this to keep this alive. Overheat potentially could KO from that range. It will hit for neutral, but it is non-stab. So I'm just going to go straight for Brutal Swings here. It's the safer play, and I don't want to drop my attack. Able to queue up another Brutal Swing before this Pelipper throws another charge move. And I end up getting the final shield. At this point, things are looking pretty good. My opponent has shields down, and I can get a significant energy advantage on anything that I bring in. I think I end up going for the Ferrothorn because it's going to allow for a really nice farm down here. I do not want to commit my final shield quite yet until I know what is in the back. And they bring out a Fire Fang Mawile that's really bad for me. I do go for the Flash Cannon here. Do they have a Lantern in the back? No, they actually end up having their own Ferrothorn. They do not get greedy. They throw immediately. Really nice play. I have to shield up this Power Whip. And then I somehow need to set myself up for a farm down where I can land a move on the Mawile. But my opponent commits to the farm down there. I really wanted to, I was hoping that they would either throw their move soon, thinking that they would get farmed down, or I would have enough health to be able to farm them down. But neither of those worked, and so they were able to take that end game there. Well played, good game. A shiny Jellicent. I'm able to align my Ferrothorn on this. However, if I get a little bit too greedy, things start getting a little bit scary here towards the end game. So they end up shielding that Power Whip, and I will shield in return. I do want to make sure that I maintain switch advantage here. And we end up CMP tying here. Ferrothorn wins the CMP tie, it looks like. They commit their final shield. And once again, I do want to maintain switch advantage, but I'm wondering if they're going to try to pivot out. They do. Out comes a Lurantis, and I'm going to go back into my Pelipper. I do have a Power Whip stored on my Ferrothorn. They go for a Leaf Blade. I know Lurantis can get to these moves very quickly, so I cannot overfarm too much. Going to throw this Hurricane immediately and get rid of this thing. Are they going to reveal the third at this point? They do. It's a Galarian Wheezing, and I'm really hoping that they go for the CMP tie here. They do. I know that Pelipper wins it, and so I'm able to get this Weather Ball off, and they throw their energy immediately. Now I still have a Power Whip stored. Overheat will do a lot of damage here, but I need to make sure I don't throw an Overheat into the Jellicent on accident. I will go for the Brutal Swing and then hopefully get just enough of a farm down on the Jellicent. That's really good for me. I will survive this Overheat, but you can see it puts me deep into the red, and I'm going to be able to queue up my Overheat and should be able to take out their Galarian Wheezing there. Good game. Pelipper into Pelipper. Okay, the mirror match. Now, typically my Pelipper loses CMP because I have a pretty low attack stat. But I'm actually going to go for the Weather Ball bait here and see what they do. They end up shielding it. I'm going to try to call a bait here, and I do successfully call the Weather Ball bait. Here's the CMP tie. I'm really hoping that they were just going for another Weather Ball, but no, they went for the Hurricane. Unfortunate. I lose the lead, and their Pelipper is still very healthy. I'm going to bring out my Ferrothorn here, and I just want to get rid of this Pelipper before it farms up too much energy and threatens my shield. They let it go down. Out comes their own Ferrothorn, so I'm wondering what they have in the back. Is it another water type? If it's a Lantern, that's really, really bad for me. I have to see where my opponent wants to spend their shields. They are running Flash Cannon as well. I'm going to immediately pivot into my Wheezing and see what they want to do here. They're opting to stay in. Flash Cannon would do a lot of damage. They do successfully bait me there with the Power Whip. Nice play. Going to do some chip damage here with the Brutal Swings. They let that go through. And in the back is a Venusaur. So they were running Double Grass, Pelipper Double Grass. I'm going to bait with another Brutal Swing here, and they do end up shielding it, thank goodness. They even overfarmed. I could have thrown that Overheat immediately, but I kind of want some energy against their Ferrothorn, so I will queue up this Overheat. This definitely is going to be enough to take out the Venusaur, and then I do swap into my own Ferrothorn to clear the debuff. Gonna go for the Power Whip here, but the game is pretty much over. Could have gone for the Flash Cannon as well. But we're going to be able to farm down this Ferrothorn and take it. You will see a lot of ABB lines in this Spring Cup. My opponent was running Water in the lead and then Double Grass in the back. We've already seen a couple of Double Grass lines. Another Ferrothorn in the lead. Now, you can potentially try to catch a Power Whip, which is what I did. And they opt to go in with a Sea King. Sea King is a really interesting pick in this cup. You have Icy Wind to hit for super effective damage against the grass types as well as the flyers. And the Drill Run is really nice for the poison types and the lanterns as well. And the Poison Jab damage is nice too for the grass types as well, and to hit neutral against other waters. But you can see this Sea King is really doing a number on my team here. I'm going to no-shield this Icy Wind, farm down, and then out comes the Ferrothorn. I do successfully catch a move on my own Ferrothorn. It's a Power Whip. And in the back is a Kingdra. So things are looking okay here. I'm hitting for neutral. They're hitting for resisted based on any charge move that they would throw here. And they even end up no-shielding the first move, which I thought was very strange. Typically, when shields are up like this and you're going to go straight for the Octazooka, you typically want to shield the earlier charge moves, because those are going to be the ones that hit for the most damage. They do end up shielding that one right there. This is still going to be a tricky end game, but I'm going to no-shield this. I do survive, and it was not a CMP tie, so I'm able to swap into my Pelipper. Going to go straight for the Hurricane here. Because I have so much energy, there is no need to bait in that scenario. So I can just safely shield this. And then, to be honest, I lost track of my opponent's Ferrothorn's energy, so I'm just going to spam these weather balls as soon as I get them. I actually farm down, and then I'm able to farm down the Kingdra and take that game there. Good game. Pelipper into Lantern. This is absolutely terrible. So I'm going to swap into my Galarian Weezing, and it's met with then Abomasnow. So this was kind of an interesting response because I do have Overheat that would hit for double super effective and would absolutely one-shot this Abomasnow. I'm going to go straight for it. I do end up getting a shield there, and I lose the CMP tie here, which is really unfortunate. This Abomasnow is too healthy to deal with, so I will shield this Overheat. I potentially could have baited here, but they do end up double shielding, and you can see if I would have baited, I would have been able to get to this other move, but I'm recognizing because I snuck there, I can potentially get to another Overheat. I'm anticipating that they're going to swap, and they do swap in the Lantern. I'm barely able to reach into my Ferrothorn to guarantee that they don't farm me down. I still have all that energy banked on my Galarian Weezing, and now I have my Ferrothorn aligned in a very positive scenario here. I'm going to be able to throw this Power Whip, and then most likely be able to farm them down and have a lot of energy for whatever's in the back. I still have that Abomasnow to deal with. Able to farm it down right before they reach a Surf there. If the Abomasnow comes in, I have to get rid of it. It's actually a Cherim, so I'm just going to throw this Flash Cannon here. And I tried catching a Weather Ball on my Pelipper. It ended up working out, so I preserved my Ferrothorn. I still have a lot of energy on the Galarian Weezing, and out comes the Abomasnow once again. I'm just going for any chip damage I can get with the Weather Ball plus wing attacks here. And this ended up being a CMP tie, so it's a good thing I threw that. Energy Ball absolutely takes me out. Now I am nervous about the Cherim being able to get to another move here. But I just stay in and force them to have to throw because they're never going to build up enough energy to have back-to-back. They end up CMP tying me here, but I have the move stored on the Galarian Weezing, so we will be able to take this. Thank you all so much for watching. Best of luck with your battles. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I'll see you all in the next video.